Brandon Barnes, and I am with my co-host Nathan
Nathan
Taylor.
Taylor.
I said it.
Ha! You beat me to it.
I did. Um, so today, Nathan, things have changed. I think we have a guest that might show up, but instead, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk more about what we have going on.
Yes. Um, just a fun opportunity to talk about some side projects both of us are working on, and just a fun thing to chat about. So let's start with you because you're madly trying to get ready for this trip. So tell us about this trip you're taking.
So we have. It was a really interesting story, right? So actually, I think one of the podcasts in the first realm of this I actually did with a person out in Rwanda, right? And I was literally there, and it was just audio at the time. But they have a school in Rwanda, right around Kigali, if that's the actual capital of Rwanda.
Okay.
And they it was a lady named Susan Holleran who was actually in Colorado, and she actually created the school. And so I'm thinking like, hey, I watch like Amazing Race. I see stuff on TV. It's a smaller school, right? No, man. I get out there and they really needed some help because like well, we have a lot of students and it was hundreds. I'm like, oh, fine, whatever. It's gonna be a school. It's probably not a big deal. But they really needed someone to go out there and manage their stuff and kind of get a good understanding of what's going on with their current staff. And also, there's a big issue with these high school age kids at this point where they're looking at stuff they're not supposed to on the interwebs. So how can we minimize that? So it really came down to here's all these different things we're using and then actually putting them all together and configuring them with single sign-on and registry. How do I get inventory on my machines? And it became a huge thing as far as like just trying to get like
Hmm.
setting up. um, we were going to set up a domain, but quite frankly, if the domain, the power is kind of flaky there. So we
Yeah.
actually just went full bore on Entra AD.
Nice.
And yeah, Entra AD, and really like did Azure domain join, and then that way it's controlled from anywhere. We went ham on Intune and set up policies, and they actually have user accounts, and we tied in Google to their SSO, and it's an actual functional structure. And now like blocking content, and whew, it's fun, right? So that's what we're doing, and so we're just kind of going out. They hired some new people down there, and we're trying to hand it off and really get them educated, and put it in their hands, right? Because they're learning too. But it's probably one of the most high tech schools in the area.
That's cool.
And if you go there, it's over 2,000 kids.
Wow. Wow.
Wait, no, is it? Yeah. Oh, I can't remember. It's a lot.
So it's a lot of
It's at
kids.
least a. I'm losing my mind if I don't say. I'm pretty sure it's that. They have a lot of kids. They have 80% of the kids live there majority of the year, so it's a
Okay.
live-in school. And most of the majority of like they call it secondary, which is high school.
Hmm.
They have tablets, so then you have like how do you integrate Samsung, but trying to lock it all down,
Hmm.
and then you run into these issues. And I'm going to get really geeky with you, but like kiosk, you almost have to only use kiosk policies. But then you run into this like identity problem because you want to identify whose tablet it is, even though you're putting it in kiosk mode, because you want to have a Google identity tied to it so they can take your Google Cast. Whew, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
we've really been trying to guide them along. And so I'm leaving in a few days to go back down there for some time, except for this time, I got to go on a safari. I get to hang out a little bit and chill. So
Nice.
it's pretty nice. It's
Nice.
kind of cool, man.
I
And
took a safari in South Africa about 10 years ago, and it was incredible. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, a lot of fun. Um, so how long have you guys been working with this group?
we've been working with Hope Haven for, geez, probably going on almost 2 years. I think it
Oh,
started
that's
in
awesome.
May of 2020. What year are we in now? Yeah, back then we first met with them to kind of do like a tap, like I might just kind of do like a big, what do you got, right?
Right.
And wasn't much, but kind of dug. Well, here's what we found. Here's all your environment. Here's what we should do. Here's our recommendations, and it kind of built from that. Um, and I love it when we have these like actual planning meetings now. So we have like a
Hmm.
small committee of people and actually do, um, our what do you call it? The governance meeting, like a IT governance. We meet quarterly at this point. We were meeting, and it's like it's
Okay.
nice that, and you have to. Sometimes people don't realize the technology. It's like, look where you were 2 years ago, when you
Right.
didn't even have a plot. Like you couldn't even make choices because you didn't know where things
Right.
were. And so now we're like planning ahead. That's pretty awesome.
That's great. Well, it's fun because, over a couple decades of doing what we do, you develop these superpowers. And, what is that superpower? It's, you and I have both done frontline tech support. We've been desktop support. We've racked and stacked servers. We've done security work. We've done, big projects. We've migrated terabytes of data. We've migrated hundreds of mailboxes. We deployed thousands of endpoints and thousands of things. And over that time, you develop the skill set, and it kind of is a superpower, right? Where you can get in and always find that ability to kind of just listen and
Mhm.
come up with a plan and simplify complex problems is kind of one of the skills I have that is most valuable, people value the most. And then you look at a situation like this where, they need that desperately. So that same superpower you sell to customers is so valuable to them.
I think what they don't even realize is how kind of they're really on the cusp of that bleeding edge technology in America, and
Yeah,
so they're ahead of the curve there, and they wouldn't even recognize that, right? I mean,
right.
we're now to the point of figuring out like pro. You know what's funny, Nathan? We're running back into the olden days of roaming profiles. We
Yes.
have, and I did talk to a buddy in the school, like the MSP school side, or worked at the schools, and they run into the same stuff, right? You have all these kids logging in the same lab machines. What do you do with the profiles? You can't have them all on the machine, so they have those like. It's a different thing nowadays. It's not the
Right.
same as roaming, but it does actually store the data on a server. Bam, bam, bam. You're good to go. Um, we're we're leveraging a lot down there, so
That's cool.
it's pretty awesome.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Well, it's gratifying. And, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's really gratifying to be able to just be like, hey, I'm giving back. This feels important. It feels good. There's some joy in that of like, we love our customers and love working with them, but there's other times you're like, oh, this is the amount of money involved with some of these customers. It's hard to, you care about the people, but there's also wrinkles where you're like, man, this feels important and valuable.
Well, it's really interesting. My company, Uncommon Solutions, pretty much is forking out the whole, like mostly everything. Right now, they
That's cool.
provide the accommodations. Like it's pretty cool. People, we're not really roughing it down there. Like they do your laundry. They make you like they have a nice kitchen, and it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. But if you leave the compound, welcome to the third world, right? Like
Right.
yeah, you better wake up to society. And I think I'm ex-military. I've been over around the world, and I've seen some stuff, man. And
Yeah.
it took me back a little bit when they start burning trash. And I'm like, oh man, I don't miss that smell at all.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that Uncommon does that. Donates, mass majority of what we're taking. We're taking some families and stuff down there at the second half. So I'm kind of going down there as a precursor, but I'm going to
Okay.
donate some time and really try and train up their team and get the new people up to speed, as well as they're going to be having more people come down and they'll read to the kids. I mean, it's crazy, dude. There's a lot of a lot of kids there, and if you ever go there, Hope Haven, Rwanda, right? It's pretty cool what they do, and when you see it firsthand, you're kind of blown away at these three-story buildings. There's two massive three-story like huge buildings, one for the school and one for the where they live, and then they have a whole second like area first where it was just the elementary school area. So it's just wow, it's
That's
amazing.
neat. That's
Yeah.
neat.
They don't have concrete trucks up there, by the way. So they were building the soccer stadium on the side, and everything is mixed by hand. And I'm just like, oh
Oh my
my
goodness.
god, it's great stonework, but I'm like, that is insane. So
Man. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing like going to a third world country and like getting in the midst of it to really, you know, give you some perspective.
yeah,
Yeah.
stop complaining about your iPhone.
Right? Yeah. My AI is not working.
Yeah. And by the way, iPhones like are a massive status symbol over there too.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, well, of course, like what's a brand new top of the line iPhone? It's a $2,000 device, $2,000 in this size. Like
That's
that's
it,
that's probably a couple years salary for some of the people around there, right? I mean, this is a big deal.
it's a very big like they don't like my Pixel so much, but if I had an Apple, that'd be really
Then you'd be cool. Well, you can just borrow somebody else's and just bring it just to get the status.
take my son, be like, here, get iPhone 15. You know, it's yeah,
Yeah,
it's
your son would die without his phone for 2 weeks though. So
actually I think out of all of them, it'd probably be my daughters. They wouldn't make it. He'd be like,
fair
"Look,
enough.
I'll go fishing."
Fair enough. Well, I'm also working on a side project similar.
Tell me.
Um, our church is supports a ministry down in Chihuahua, Mexico,
Yeah.
and there's a native people in the Chihuahua area called the Tatamana people,
Okay.
and so it's a native tribe. And as these things happen, this native tribe has kind of been kind of pushed to the side and marginalized in this part of Mexico, and so they just have a lot of really challenging variables. A lot of substance abuse, very very poor, very few opportunities for education and for to better themselves. So this group sets up these communities. They call them colonias, and the idea is that they bring in the kids from this community, from these people, and they give the kids education and food and medical care. And so the kids come in every day, and it's one of those programs where you can sponsor the kids, and I really enjoy that piece because you can interact with them quite a bit. There's emails back and letters back and forth, and our church takes a trip down there a couple times a year to go meet them. So I actually get the chance to meet these kids, and I haven't been able to take a trip down there. We're working towards timing that. It just hasn't worked out, but hope to go soon. But in the meantime, they need a bunch of help with their email. They're running, pretty complex org on POP3 email and
You say pop three?
POP3, a web host based email
Yeah.
solution. So I'm helping them get migrated to Office 365. They have a tenant, but just the layers there was overwhelming to them, and they're like, "You don't happen to know anything about 365?" And I was like, "Well."
Well, now that you say I do.
Done it to a thing or two there. So in a couple weeks, we'll be migrating them fully to 365, and um, pretty excited to just get to help. It just feels really good to take that skill set you've developed and use it in a way that really goes a long ways for them. So Colonial Lightshine is the name of that organization, and it's just fun to give back. So kind of fun to chance to just chat about that because I think we're both in the next 2 weeks putting some time into those situations.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we can put down. Hope Haven does. You can sponsor the kids. I was actually down there, well, last year when it's all initiated, right? Because they're like, do you want to go? I don't know what it is. I don't think a lot of people want to go to Africa, but
Yeah,
for me, I'm not gonna joke. Like everyone else is like, well, I don't know. It's kind of far. I miss my family. I'm like, bye. I'll go.
yeah, yeah.
And I had a great time. And the Genocide Museum wasn't crazy, but they get to go to that. But they do also. We should put that in our at the end of the episode or in the description. Just links to these places
Yes,
and how you can help them. And they do support real life people. I think you'd be great. So really love to if anyone else gives to them. Also, my company has the Uncommon Fund. That's a nonprofit, and they actually helped fund my stuff, and they're gonna help like pay for my safari.
that's really cool.
So that was kind of nice on them because it was just gonna it was gonna be mostly a yeah, pretty much everything. So
That's cool, and I love seeing how organizations give back. I know SourcePass has our SourcePass Foundation. I haven't connected those two dots yet, but it's always cool to see when orgs are also giving back to the community because it's important. There's so many people that are less privileged than us, and
right,
you know, we're raising kids, right? We both have kids. It's always on my mind of like trying to get them to understand how good they have it. How do I show you the difference between your life and the life of people in Denver, let alone in Rwanda or Chihuahua, Mexico? It's important for all of us to have perspective. So
yeah, no, absolutely. It it's a good. I think I always tell my kids. My kids kind of laugh at me, but I'm like, they're complaining about I don't know their snacks or something and their car, right? And here I am last year, and I'm buying my youngest a car, right? I just got her. It was actually gave her my mom's old BMW. It was like a 2012 BMW, right? And these guys are in their 30s with full families, and it would change their life if they had a car.
right.
Not to mention a motorcycle or something, right? And
Yes.
it completely changed their world. So I'm like, what am I complaining about? And if my kids ever complain, I'm like, I'm gonna just send them to Africa. Go.
Right?
go. But
Yes,
yeah, that's the
absolutely.
jam for me, man. And we'll put it in there, and hopefully people understand. We're helping out in different areas with the IT, and it's becoming kind of global now.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
So go find some place to give back. Use your skills for good. A lot of the nonprofits need our skills. Sometimes you can get some of the solutions like Microsoft. If you can get nonprofit status, Microsoft licenses are a quarter of the price or even free for certain SKUs. So you can really help us a nonprofit org scale their operation in a way that's really cost effective. TechSoup has a lot of license options there where a lot of the big orgs are giving away licenses, and so great opportunity to support some groups. And Brandon, you stay safe out there. Stay safe on your trip. Enjoy. Maybe you can bring back some pictures. We can post them on LinkedIn, and we might even get a chance to chat with you online, or maybe you'll record an episode with somebody local. But I'd love
yeah.
to hear. Love to
How
see
you
if you
going?
could capture something while you're down there. So
I will. I will absolutely. I appreciate it, and good luck on your. I'll be gone for like a couple weeks, but good luck on your migration.
appreciate it. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for the time today.
Yeah, and for our listeners, please, please, please don't forget to go to our YouTube, like and subscribe there. That's kind of our bread and butter, and we appreciate you all and listening to what we have to say.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon.
So yeah, you off?
We're off. That worked out great.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you.